Okay, so for this part, we will review again the nested if statements in a menu-driven program where we have several selections. And let's see how this program will behave. So we'll start with, let's see here. So we're going to have several versions of this. So I'm just going to have one where everything is in main first, and then we'll split it up. So int main. So my menu will be defined within the main function, that is. And eventually I'm going to do this where it's going to be a little more procedural. Okay, so now let's suppose we want to display a menu. So, and while we're displaying the menu, we want to offer the user the chance to select from the menu. And then we need to process based on the selected item from the menu. Okay? And maybe while we're processing, we could do an output. So this is the general strategy that I have for this program. So first, let's go ahead and have some sort of a menu. So what do we want? We could, for example, have a simple calculator, add and subtract. Okay? So if you choose 1, you will add. If you choose 2, you will subtract. Okay, well, let's do that. So printf, you will have, let's do a /t/t, center it to the screen a little bit, main menu, or calculator menu if you want. /n, and then printf, /t/t. Let's put some underlines here to make it a little pretty. Okay. Next, we're going to do printf something like this. We're going to do for the addition. So a /t/t. This one, if you pick 1, it will be an addition operation. Okay. And /n. And printf /t/t2. This would be a subtraction operation. /n. Okay. And then we're going to ask the user to enter their choice. So let me go back to the beginning of the program. Let's declare the variables, the needed variables for this application. So we're going to need, since we're going to do some arithmetic operations, we're going to need a number. Oops, let me read. Numbers to process, and we also need something to select with. So for example, selecting could be something like this in choice. For the numbers you want to play with, float, num1, num2, we're going to print the result directly on the printf statement. Okay, so I'm going to handle this. So right here, I'm going to ask the user, printf, maybe something like this, /t, enter your choice. Okay, and I'm not going to put a /n here, so that way the prompt will be blinking right on that spot. So I'm going to do a scanf, and that would be a %d and choice. Okay, all right, so we could test this quickly. Let me go ahead and compile and run. Make sure this is a .c program. Here's your menu. Okay, so you have 2 items in there. Now, at this stage, I can enter anything I want and the program ends, okay? So we're going to have validation. We're going to make sure that the selection is valid. And after that, if the selection is valid, we can go ahead and do the operation, either addition or subtraction. So there are three things we need to do to be able to process properly after we choose from a menu. Okay? So this is the select from a menu. So let me just cut this here. Cut. That is the where it came from. And V right there. Okay? So now we're going to process based on what we selected. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that the selection is either 1 or 2. Either 1 or 2. So notice the words that I'm using. If it's 1, it's true. If it's 2, it's true. If it's both, well, you're not going to get both. Choice will either be 1 or 2. Or it could be -3. It could be 0. It could be 100. Well, we want that one to be the false part of our outer if statement. So here's how you do it. If choice equals 1. So it means you picked 1. And let me just put parentheses here just to delineate this choice right here. And we're going to compare it. So or, so let me write this is an or, and choice equals 2. Then we're good. That is what you want. So again, this is the or operator. Okay? One or the other. Else, you could print F. You could do something like this. %D is an invalid choice. It's neither 1 or 2, right? And you could do something where you can actually display what you've entered. That would be choice. Okay? So now, in the true part, so let me put a couple curly braces just to be safe, is where we're going to process and look at exactly which one you picked. Was it a 1? Was it a 2? Okay? So, if choice was equal to 1, then we're going to do a few things. So let me put curly brace, close curly brace, because I'm going to do a whole block of code here. I'm going to ask the user. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to ask the user, printf, enter the first number. You could do something like this. By the way, you could say this is the addition operation. So it shows that you are within the addition operation domain. And lowercase here. And then it's going to say something like this, printf. Enter the first number. And then we're going to scan that number, scanf. And that would be a %f. Now remember, that would be num1. And don't forget the n%, num1. That would be the first number. And then printf, enter another number, or the second number. So we're doing the addition operation if we've picked 1, right? And what's going to happen here is you're going to do something like this. Again, %f and num2. Okay, now I have the two numbers. I can actually print the addition of these two numbers. So %.1f plus %.1f equals %.1f. I'm going to do the operation right here in the print statement. Okay. So notice I put in placeholders with the precision at 1 decimal point. So I want num1 to appear here, num2 to be the second one. And notice what I'm going to do, num1 plus num2 as my third data member that will be right here. okay, that you will display right here. Okay, so that handles the choice being equal to 1. So let me save this. Can we test it right away? Yes, we can actually compile and run. And now let's say I pick 3. Now we know 3 does not exist, right? So it's not in the list. You will get 3 as an invalid choice. That's perfect. Now in the future, we're going to put this in a loop. So again, the learning objective today is nested if statements, okay? So let's say I put 2. Now 2, I don't have a subtraction. Now I'm going to get no message and no invalid message either, okay? Now let's suppose I do 1 this time. And sure enough, we are inside the addition operation. I got to spell addition better. And let's say we enter 23.1 plus 1.1. Okay, and the result is 24.2. Perfect. So let me just take care of that. Addition. There you go. Now, do I need an else? Not necessarily. If choice is not 1, then it's false. You're done. You could do another if statement for choice equals 2. So no need for a nested right here. So both of these are nested within the first if statement, but there is no need to put this as a part of an else for this if statement here. You can, but I think we'll be fine this way. So what I'm going to do is the code is going to be pretty much the same. I'm going to copy all of this, paste it here, except this time, this is a subtraction operation. And what we're truly doing here is a minus, and display it as a minus over here as well. Now let's see how this behaves. Okay, so we have 1 addition operation, 2 subtract operation. Let's try 2. And sure enough, it goes to the subtraction operation. So let's put an 8 for the first number and a 2.2 for the second number. And we got a result. Now let's test it out again to make sure that it filters out and it goes to addition in case I choose that. And I'm going to do 1. And sure enough, we're 78.2 plus minus 99.2. Okay? Right? So it's doing an arithmetic addition for us. Let's have it where we enter a value that is out of the range of the selection. And let's put a 90. By mistake, you type 90. Okay, great. So it's going to say 90 is an invalid choice. That was handled by the outer if statement. Okay, so I hope this example was clear. Now we're going to do this again with menu version 2, or version 3, I'm sorry. But I am going to take this menu outside of main. Let's do that now. So I'm going to create another program. I'm going to copy everything you see in here. You can see how quick this is going to be. I'm going to copy all of this and paste it in here. And we're going to call this one version 3. And let's save it as such. So this would be menu, this would be a .c. This would be menu version 3. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is have the menu right here. So int menu as a function, and it will return a choice for you. So what I'm going to do is take all of this, and I'm going to cut it and put it right here. However, I need to declare local variable choice. So you need int choice, even though I declared it in main, but each one of them is simply a copy. Return choice. So, or only exist It's not even a copy. I didn't pass it. But it only exists right here. So this choice here is related to this choice, but it's not the same variable. Okay? Even though they're the same name. I could have changed all my choices here to option. Okay? Now, the key here is to call the menu function. So that's the only way you're going to have a value for choice, and you're going to call the menu right here, where it will actually return this value, whatever you picked, right when you call menu. Now, your local choice in main will be handled according to the same logic we just did. So this shouldn't be any different from what we've done, except I moved the menu outside of main. Okay? All right, well, let's compile and run and see if we get the same results. And let's see, call menu. The way this one wants to do the comments is in this manner. So let's go ahead and do it again. Compile and run. There you go. So we got the same result. So let's do an addition. And as you can see, it picked up on the fact that we've picked 1 as our choice. And let's say a 7 and a 7. So that's 14. Everything looks good. Again, what happened here? What happened here is that now I have an external function to main that we would call right within main to set the value for the local variable choice within main based on the local variable choice within menu, because that was returned back to main that called menu, okay, or the callee. So the key ingredient is right here, the calling of a function. Now, this is good because it allows us to separate some of the jobs that we need to do, okay? Could we have had operations outside, like addition and subtraction, outside of here? And the answer is yes. So let's create another version of this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all of this. Copy. And let's create another program based on the same idea. Paste. This would be version 4. Except now, I'm going to do the addition and subtraction in a separate function. Okay? So maybe void addition. And it will do its own. So it will do something like this. Let's copy this. Let's cut this and put it right here. Okay? Now, to do this, you're going to still need local variables num1 and num2 to be declared right here. So you need float num1, num2, semicolon, and then make sure you close the curly brace here. Notice this has a void in front of it, so it doesn't need to return anything. The idea here is it is self-sufficient, self-contained. It will print the result for you. This would be the addition. So the way to work it is you can call addition from here. So simply call the addition, which will be this function right here. Now notice, since it is a void as a return type, right? So it basically has no return. You can actually call the function addition. So I'm going to leave this part here for now, so you can see the work will be the same. Either you can call a function. Now, since that is one line of code, you can take this curly brace and take this curly brace out, right? This addition here belongs to this first if statement. Okay, let's test it out quickly. So we're going to compile and run. We need to save it. This would be a .c. This would be menu version 4. Okay, and let's see how it works. And there you have it. Let's do addition and see if it works. And I have a 2 plus 3, and we got a 5. Okay, can we migrate now the subtraction into another function? And the answer is yes. Okay, so we could do something like this, void subtraction. So this way we have specialized functions that will do the job for us. So I'm going to take all of this code that's in here. Nothing is wasted. I'm going to cut it and go back here and put it right here. We will see the advantages of doing procedural programming in this manner as we progress through the various parts of Introduction to C Programming. Now, what do we do here? Well, we can call subtraction. But remember, you're going to have to declare the actual variables num1, num2 under subtraction. Subtraction is a function. We're going to call that one. Okay? And remember here, we need to float num1, num2 need to be declared in there, otherwise this will not work. Now, since num1, num2 are already handled by the addition and subtraction, we don't need it in main. So we can take that out. There's no reason for it here. It's not anywhere mentioned or used inside of main. Notice how main now becomes a lot more streamlined. Okay? This is eventually where you're going to end up, how you're going to end up writing code, where the main function is basically a controlling function that calls other functions for the purpose of procedural programming implementation. Okay? And notice this is still driven by if statements in this manner. So let's go ahead and compile and run this and see if the subtraction will work. So we're going to have to pick 2 subtraction. 1 minus 1, we get a 0. That looks good. All right, so everything else, again, the processing got streamlined. We don't have tons of code inside of main. All of that migrated to each one of them into a specialized job. You want addition? Great. Create a function for addition. You want subtraction? Wonderful. Create a function for that. Okay? So if there are any modifications you want to do to any operation, you have a point where you can focus on the changes, and you don't have to do changes all over your code. Notice also the menu is in a separate function, okay, which is good, because that way if you want to update the menu, let's say you want this time to add a division or a multiplication, great. You can go over here, printf, and then you could do something like this, /t/t. Notice how easier now it is to update. Multiplication /n. Okay, so now 3 is a choice. So you're going to have to go over here to your statement here, and then add or choice equals 3 is a valid choice. And now we're going to do multiplication as a function here. So void multiplication. Okay, and we're going to handle multiplication right here. So it's going to look exactly similar to what we just did here. So I'm going to copy all of this, paste it here, just change the operation into a multiplication. And this would be multiplication and what you will do here is you will put a big X here just to show that's what you're doing, but the actual operator for multiplication is the asterisk, right? num1 times num2. Let me just put parentheses here between these two so we know that's what we're doing. It's an operation, okay? Now, I have the multiplication function. Great. Can I call it? Let me save everything here just in case. So I can notice how the upgrade or the update is easily done. If choice equals 3, this is the advantage of doing it this way. Go ahead and call multiplication. So if I need to update more operations, I can simply follow the same pattern right here. And notice how streamlined main is, right? The function main, as you add more operations. Okay, let's compile and run this and see if we indeed get our multiplication. And sure enough, multiplication got added to the menu. Let's go ahead and try it out. So we're going to pick 3. Excellent. Multiplication is a valid operation. We're going to 2 times 3, and that would be a 6. Okay? Excellent. So you can add more features like division, power, etc., and build yourself a simple calculator in this manner. Now, is there a better way to handle and process the choice that you have other than multiple if statements of this nature? And the answer is yes. And that is what I'm going to do now with menu version 5. So I'm going to copy all of this. And let me go to Edit and do a Select All, Edit, Copy, create a new project or a new program, and paste here. It didn't copy what I needed to copy, so let's do it again. Go back here, Edit, Select All, Edit, Copy, and then paste here. Voila. Okay, all of it here. This will be version 5. Now what I'm going to do is gut the main function completely. Okay, so I'm going to take this out, start again from scratch, take all of this out. But notice my functions, the other functions, didn't have to do anything. Now, this is a big advantage when you're doing procedural programming. You could reuse these functions, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm going to go over here, and I can create my own variables in here for choosing from the main menu. So maybe something like this, int option. This time, I don't have to call it choice. Then call the menu. Then you'll have option equal menu. And now we're going to process based on option. But now I'm going to introduce you to a new syntax, okay, which is a switch statement. So you're going to do something like this, switch, based on option, and then curly brace, to make sure we know where it starts and ends. And now we're going to have cases. Case, if it's 1, you're going to have to do one thing. Case 1, actually, like this. And then let me put a break statement in case you're done with that one. Case 2. And then put a break here. Case 3. These are valid choices. Break. And then what you will do is you will type default for anything other than 1, 2, 3. So notice now, I don't have a complicated if statement that says is choice equal 1, is choice equal 2, is choice or 3. Right here, I'm breaking it down into cases. And here you could do something like this, printf. And then you could say %d is an invalid option or choice if you want. /n. Okay. So now, if it's case 1, well, call the addition. There you go. If it's case 2, perfect. Call the subtraction. And I hope you're seeing the advantage now. And this would be the multiplication. Call that function. Put a semicolon. Okay, now let's see if this behaves the way I intended it to be. So let's compile and run. We need to save it. So this would be a .c. This would be menu version 5. And there you go. Okay, and let's do an addition. Okay, 1 plus 3.3. Excellent. Let's run it again. Make sure everything else works. Let's go ahead and do a subtraction. 8 minus 12. Okay. Let's go ahead and do a multiplication. And that would be choose 3. And that would be a 2 times 1. Fine, that will be a 2. Now let's choose anything but 1, 2, 3 and see what happens. Let's say I pick 4, right? I'm surprised it said -2. So let me see where the error is. Why did it say -2? That should have been a 4. I know what it is because I forgot to put a comma here and put option right here. So it picked up garbage. So this is important. This is why you test your code thoroughly. Just because addition, subtraction, multiplication worked, you need to inspect every case, including default. All right, so this was a really good case for not neglecting to inspect all your code fully. So anytime I make changes, compile and run, right? And let's again pick this time 4, and I should get a 4 is an invalid option.